if you take your child and you see the excitement and your excitement, $60 or $50 doesn't seem like much. People happily pay. They're paying for their unique experience. Are they getting a product or are you buying an experience? What are you buying? You are buying a unique experience with your child. Right? That's what you're buying. Therefore, you can ask an interesting question. For those of you who don't know what this stuff is, normally when you go to a toy store, you have many different kinds of bears. Big ones, small ones, blue ones, red ones. So you have a lot of stock keeping units. Here you have something flat. That's a shell. So your child goes and picks one, and then you say, okay, now I can make a bear out of it. You give it life. Is that right? If you want a fat bear, no problem. Stuff more cotton in. If you want an anorexic bear, that's also no problem. Put less. Then you put a heart. Of course, you can put a sound in it, either the sound that you want to make, or which is personal, or a sound that is available in the shop. And then you have to give it a shower. You can't take the baby home without a shower. And you have to give your address because you have to give it a name. And of course, children give the family name and also tell you where they live. Is it true or not? That is called collection of database. You didn't know that. But anyway, that's okay. Then the third step is, after you've made the bear, you have to create a lifestyle. So you buy accessories. These bears need snowshoes. Did you buy snowshoes?
Not in California.
But you buy interesting things, accessories, camping gear, all kinds of things. And then you can't have a baby alone, so you have to have siblings. So you go back. I like to ask the question, why? But more interestingly, you take a bear promise. Did you take one? I want you to read it. It's very interesting. My bear is special. I brought it to life. I chose it. Because experience is always very personal and very individual. You can take the same child twice to the same store, and the experience is not the same. It's very different. Because experience is also very contextual. Of course, there is a bear, which is the physical product, but that is not where the value is. The value is in the experience. Would you agree? Now I'd like to ask the question, if the value is in the experience, why is it 90% of our thinking in where value is product-centered, not experience-centered? This is just one example, but it's a fun example to start with, because everybody can relate to toys. But the transformation of this industry, which Build-A-Bear has done, is quite interesting. If you look at it, large volume, low cost, this is the traditional view of the toy industry. Low margin, highly seasonal, 40 to 45% of the sales come 10 days before Christmas or 50 days before Christmas, and a lot of bad products in the business. A lot of churn and few staples like Barbie dolls. When you look at Build-A-Bear, it's exactly the opposite. May not be huge volume, but certainly high margin. Would you agree? And it's very stable. It's not constantly changing. And who is giving ideas for product development here? It's the kids. And they now say, I want this gadget or that gadget. Or Christmas, I want a reindeer. Same story. Flat reindeer shells, fat reindeer, lean reindeer. You can go through the same routine one more time. And the interesting thing for me is, can you transform your business? So that is basically my starting point. Now, I know some of you are going to say, why is this changing? I believe globalization connected with connectivity, digitization, convergence, and social networks is creating a fundamentally new dynamic on how you create value. Let's think about what it means. I know some of you are going to say, It's okay, CK, toy industry is fine. I'm in a serious business, not toys. Actually, toys are quite serious, but okay. Now, some of you are going to say, toys are not serious business. I'm in serious business. So I thought I'll take something so serious that I don't think there's anything more serious than this. It is called cardiac pacemaker. Is that serious business? You don't want to mess around with cardiac pacemakers, right? Do you know anybody who has a cardiac pacemaker? Among your friends, relatives? Nobody? Good, good. I knew Holland was a healthy place, but not that. Not that healthy. Oh, at least he has a foreigner friend who has a pacemaker. That's good. Cycling does help, you know. What I like to ask you is, I already have, let me take my example. I don't have a pacemaker, but it's easy. Let's assume I have a pacemaker already, a physical product. How can you improve the value of that pacemaker for me? Just give it a thought for a minute. And I'm making sure it does not fail. The battery lasts forever. All that is taken care of. TQM is done. Miniaturization is done. Now, how do you improve the value for me?
You connect it by internet to the hospital in case it does fail.
It may not fail, but the heart always does not listen to the pacemaker. So sometimes if my heart goes crazy, would it be nice if somebody could remotely monitor what's happening to my heart and then said, CK, sit down. Or you go to the hospital in Maastricht. Now, I can go to the hospital in Maastricht, but they have no clue about who I am, but more importantly, what has done to me. So would it be nice if my doctor in Ann Arbor could call the doctors here, dump all the information on what has been done to me over the last 6 months, have a conference call, and by the time I arrive there, they already have figured out what to do with me? Would that be nice? Would you pay a lot of money for it if you're a heart patient? Yes? No? Now, the interesting question is, where is the value here? So I can say, I can build a network. So this is your doctor, experts conference, doctors in Maastricht, doctor on location, that's the away hospital. And of course, being a rich part of the world, in Europe, I have to have a Rolls-Royce looking ambulance. Right? And once in a way, it may be a good idea to call your spouse to say, he's okay, no problem, don't worry. Or sometimes get on a plane and come here. Sometimes you may have to want to call a priest as well. It all depends. I like to pose the question, A, is it possible today? B, if it is possible, where is the value here? Is it in the pacemaker, which is the physical product? Is it in the network? Or is it in the experience of the patient? Because what I want you to think about is, of course, it's the experience of the patient, but not only my experience, but the integration of my experience with that of the doctor and the family, because if the doctors hate the system, it won't work. If my family hates the system, they won't pay for it. But do we need a network of players? Do I have to own the hospital in Maastricht in order to get Maastricht Hospital to be part of a global network? Of course not. I don't have to own it. Do I have to own the carrier in order for the carrier to participate in this? No. The question is, how do I then build a network where ownership is not the issue, influence is the issue, access is the issue? Can we separate access from ownership? Because most of the thinking in the West is you have to own to influence. That is why we have all these arguments forever on 51% control, 49% control. I say you have no control over the carrier, but your carrier can be still part, because the carriers still have to decide how to handle secure medical information. the awareness